Okie dokie, boys and girls, so we got another push day. Today, as always, starting off with some light holds on the planche and the front lever before moving into the actual workout. Or not as always, but as of late, I should say. But in today's workout, we've just got, like I said, holds and then some push-ups on the menu. I will do some accessories for supinating the planche as well, and also the forearms, because it's been a while, and every now and then you just need a PR on the accessory exercises, because when you get those small muscles strong as hell, that's when you stay injury free. But what I want to talk about today is there was this guy in Belgium. I'm from Belgium too, and he just beat the almost 30-year-old record of the longest distance ran in 48 hours. Now, I run a little bit, but this channel is not about running. But nonetheless, right, I feel like you can draw inspiration from everywhere. Like, you don't just have to look in your sport. You can look at basically anyone, see that they're doing something amazing, and draw inspiration from it. So this guy, he ran 485 kilometers in 48 hours. That's over 300 miles. That is the first person to ever hit an average of 10 kilometers an hour in 48 hours, like over the span of 48 hours. Like, it's so fucking cool. And, even though my niche is not endurance, I just think it's so amazing to see what humans are capable of, and it draws inspiration to just, do your best for your own training as well. And, a lot of people, when they see stuff like that, they will see like, oh, but yeah, he's got good genetics or whatever, but genetics are not something you can measure. You will never know just how good your genetics are. Like, people will use that excuse to basically justify not being able to do amazing stuff like that themselves, but they forget that, your genetics might not be as good, maybe, but have you been putting in all of the effort, right? The answer is probably not, because we can all put in more effort. We can all, train better, train harder, train smarter, achieve more results if we put in more time. And, people will often just look at like world records, say like, oh yeah, I mean, he's got good genetics, that's why he can do it. No, maybe that's the case, but maybe he just has average genetics and he was just grinding all the way years and years and years. And, I think that's how you should look at it, right? It's a bad way to just jump to the conclusion of genetics when you see something amazing. No, you don't have to think of other people as special, and that's not in a condescending way. That's just, put yourself in an equal playing field. And if you can see someone else doing something amazing, ask yourself, like, why wouldn't I be able to do that? And probably you won't be getting like a 100% certain answer, meaning that maybe you can do it, right? And that's inspiring. But anyway, I'm gonna do another hold here. I'm gonna check if I'm not being a sideways banana. So I'm gonna put you guys up here so you can watch from above. And if I become a banana sideways, make sure to tell me. All right, there we go. And give me one moment. There we go. Right, 5 seconds. Yes, I do have a bit of a weight on, but it's not that much, so it's okay. Oh, all right. Front lever. Okay, so I'll try not to bore you with the same angle over and over and over again today, but I do want to just check how my push-ups are looking from this angle, because I'm doing planche Quasimodo style, I've noticed this, especially since last training. I knew like I was a bit crooked, but not this crooked. So, I'm gonna just see how things are going. aim for a good form and basically do some push-ups today because yes, when you like I haven't shown it on the channel yet, but I used to train a lot of one arm planche. I injured my left arm in like the first 1.5 years of my training, and I was just basically training only one arm planche for 3 months or something, and then I learned the one arm planche, and then once I got back, I got back to the normal planche. But yeah, doing that much stuff on one arm, it's gonna fuck you up. So if you ever try to do one arm planche, like one arm handstands, consider trying it on both arms. That's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, let's see how things are going. Okay, so the push-ups are just as bad. At least I know it now, so I can pay attention to it. All right. As you might notice, I'm just doing some push-up sets here. So I'm doing the holds in between trainings, during the day a lot. So I don't feel as fresh right now. I don't have a lot of power. But my point is that what I try to do is to, practice the hold as much as possible because the hold is my final goal. And then in between, I'll add these sessions where I, train the planche separately and do some, it's not accessory work, but do some different work to basically get stronger in the planche and feel lighter as well. So these push-ups, now I did a press as well, these are just normal planche sets. I don't do them all the way to the limit, right? But they will allow me to feel the planche more in different ways and basically, get my body accustomed to it and make it feel lighter during the hold. So if you only train holds, well, you're gonna get some progress, but you're only doing static stuff. The dynamic stuff really helps you to get some power or get some power into your muscles once you recover. So a couple more sets and then we will see. Okay, I'm quite tired in the shoulders, so I'm just gonna adjust here and do a straddle planche instead of a full planche, or some push-ups I should say. So 1 or 2 sets, let's go. All right, 1 more set. Okay, I'm gonna do some more planche hold sets tonight when I get back from work. But for now, I'm gonna do some forearm accessories. I gotta look at my PR, but once I have done that, I will get back to you. Okay, so the reps to beat is 14. Now, why is that so important, right? I mean, you see many people doing rehab exercises with bands and stuff, right? And that's not bad, but personally, I'm not a fan of like the banded stuff because it doesn't allow you to really measure hypertrophy, right? It's difficult to gauge how much farther you're going. And sometimes that's a good thing, right? Sometimes, you can use bands to kind of, put yourself in the dark of how much you're doing to overcome a mental barrier. But when it comes to rehab, when it comes to doing an exercise, you need to get PRs. You need to see where you're going, right? So unless you're trying to surpass a plateau, you kind of need to gauge how strong you're getting. And if I do like forearm exercises, with the bands, right, it's good to get a pump and stuff, and yes, they will get a bit stronger, but I'm not able to see how much stronger I'm actually getting. So when I use a weight instead, I can pinpoint for this weight, I have so many reps, and I can try to improve upon it. And by improving that weight or that PR time and time and time again, I'll get stronger, I'll get a bulletproof body. So I try to do that as much as possible, for my forearms, for my shins now as well, for my calves. I try to use weight so that I know that I'm doing hypertrophy, that I'm progressing, right? That's the ultimate goal. An exercise is useless if you're not trying to progress. And for planche and front lever, that's something that you don't even have to think about it, you just know that's true. But for some reason, when it comes to accessory exercises, people start thinking differently. So anyway, enough yapping. I'm gonna do the hammer lift. You've seen this before, or if not, go to one of the previous videos. But basically, this is gonna activate my forearm, the muscles that I use in the planche, and make them stronger. So 14 reps is the goal to beat. It's really difficult when the bar is really... One more set with a lighter weight so that I can control it more. Alright, so that's it for today's push day. Lots of push-ups, incidentally, and also some holds. Tonight I'll do some more holds. I felt a bit sluggish, but I guess that's from building up the volume in the planche right now. Which, as long as I'm not getting weaker and still being able to build up that volume, I'm happy with it. So very satisfied with today's training. And it's another step towards the final goal of a 20-second planche hold. Now, like I was saying in the beginning, you can draw inspiration from everywhere, even if the sport is very different, even if it's not a sport, right? People can put other people on the moon. People can run 485 kilometers in 48 hours. That's all stuff that has gotten, well, it's zero to do with planche, right? It's something completely different. But when you can realize, like, hey, those people are not necessarily that much different from you, and they're still able to do amazing stuff in their own fields, then why wouldn't you be able to do it, right? And that's something that I think is very, very important to realize and to accept, is that not everyone you see doing amazing stuff is special, so to speak, right? And by the fact that they're not special, they're not different from you, they're just your average Joe, and they can do amazing stuff, right? If you think about it that way, that means that you can do it as well. And well, on the other hand, you have to be hypocritical as well, that you might see people doing bad stuff, right? And those people are not special either. You might see an alcoholic, you might see someone not trying their best at school or work or whatever. You might see someone being lazy. That person is also not special, right? He might have the best genetics in the world, and he's doing stuff like fucking not showing up to work. And in the same way that you think about, like, oh, that guy is doing amazing stuff and I want to do it as well, why couldn't I? You also have to like see in the world what you do not want to become, and then even though that person is not that different from me, I'm not going to do that. You have to kind of be able to focus your attention, your energy on what you want to achieve, on which direction you want to go. So I don't think that guy and this girl, they're special. It gets thrown a lot around, especially in the fitness industry. Like, oh, he has good genetics. It gets thrown out a lot. I try to not think about that as much as possible, because you cannot say for sure how good someone's genetics are. That's just impossible. You are unable to compare yourself to someone else. You might be able to say like, hey, they're a bit better than mine, but you don't know how much. And by focusing on the genetic part, by focusing on the things you cannot control, you're kind of shying away from facing reality and control, or doing something about the stuff you can control, right? It's easy to whine about genetics and stuff and spend your time on that instead of actually working on yourself and trying to get better with the genetics you have. So that's why I like to see, like, whatever sport it is, whatever achievement it is, I like to look at those people and be like, holy fucking shit, they did that, no excuses. So why wouldn't I be able to do more amazing stuff myself, right? In the things I'm trying to achieve. But anyway, that's enough yapping. I have to head to work, so I'm gonna grab a shower and some breakfast, and see you tomorrow for a pool day.